at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have everything for young men to enjoy. Can hang out with all the boys. It's fun to stay at
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Black Sea Theory. If this is your first time tuning in, you can always follow us in our platforms, which is most importantly YouTube, Spotify, and our social media channels. And for this episode, as you can see, I think two of us out of the three are like very excited about the fact that we've got a new president in the United States. Padahal kita ni duduk Malaysia, tiba-tiba nak mengada pasal US. So in saying all that, we've also got a special guest for tonight. Our guest for tonight is he is a good friend of ours. I guess roughly how long has it been? I think about pretty long, right? I think can't
Quite
remember.
long. I have a little story about that.
Yeah, okay. We can go into that. Just to give a bit of a breakdown of our guest, he is a lawyer that specializes in sexual cases, sexual harassment, I think all kinds of things that is related to sexual crimes. And without further ado, here is Cassian.
Hello, everyone. Pleasure to be on this platform. I've been watching you guys for a while now.
Thank you so much.
I think I've been watching from day one, I believe.
Yeah.
You know, ever since, you know, what was it? What money is that? Money used to leave you some comments or something, right?
Money, yeah. Oh. See, even before. yeah, but money, yeah. That
money.
famous guy,
Since
man.
money's days, like Zaman Money. Actually, you and I have known each other for upwards of 10 plus years, you know.
Oh, okay. I can't really recall about it.
You used to have another Facebook account before. So I think when I was like 17 years old, what year was this? 2009, I think.
Okay.
So I used to be a very cringe kid, I suppose.
So, why did you take this kid black?
I used to do some things.
Okay.
I believe so. And then once upon a time, I remember you had dropped me a DM. And I knew you were teasing me. So at that point, I was like, okay, I got to get my shit together now. So yeah.
Please
that's
tell
began
us
my
about the
friendship.
cringe things.
I used to have you know those somewhat like frosted tips.
Ah,
And
okay.
then-
I used to.
Something like that.
Nice.
And then you know those necklaces.
The
you know,
chokers.
The choker thing.
Yeah, okay.
Highly edited pictures and stuff.
Nah.
All that love.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty long. I mean, that's pretty...
Some time ago.
Yeah, some time back. But then again, yeah, here are we now in our 9th episode. And I mean, first of all, I have to thank you so much for following the Black Sea Theory. I think
Thank you so much for coming here, all the way from Malacca.
Oh yeah, by the way, yeah.
I'm glad. I'm very flattered that you guys think that I'm even good enough for this.
No, you're always good enough.
Yeah.
No, always good. No problem about that. Okay, so let's just move into the whole episode, and maybe you can just like share with us a bit about how's your journey been since that frosted tips and chokers and stuff. How's it been for you?
Life has been life, going quite smoothly, I suppose. Of course, there are hiccups here and there, but here I am. In one piece. Somehow I figured it out.
Okay, so tell us about your career, especially in law. Like what did that? How did that came about, and what drove you into like pursuing law and all that?
I think very early in my secondary school period, I had decided that I don't like maths. So that was the beginning of everything. So I figured, what can I do that is quite sustainable in terms of the wallet lah?
Okay.
Yeah? For future. And then obviously the automatic answer came was lawyer, because my uncle was a lawyer also. But then my father told me, you have to do history also, right? Somehow I managed lah. So also I think my interest in law also started because I have a big interest in like stories and writing and movies and stuff. And as much as people think that whenever you ask somebody, what do you do? And they say you're a lawyer, you automatically have this idea about them. And this is pure glamorization of the job. The first thing that anyone needs to know for being a lawyer, that is like if you go to court and fight a case, is the art of waiting.
Okay.
Because wherever you go, you will kena sidai. They will tell you to come at 9 o'clock,
Okay.
but it will start lah when it starts. So you wait and wait and wait and wait. Yeah, so it's the art of patience.
Oh, okay.
That's law.
What made you pick specifically sexual crime, criminal law in that sense? Yeah.
In law school, I think it was my second year. At that time, I was just still riding the wave and seeing where it would lead me. And then I realized one of my lecturer, her name is Dr. Flora, she had started picking on me for some reason. So I thought maybe I'm sitting behind. So she's identifying me and she's calling me out. Lah. So I move in front. In front also she picked me. Then I go in the middle. Middle also she's picked me. So I knew I cannot run away from her. So the only thing I could do is to actually study. And true enough, she was teaching me criminal law.
Okay.
That's when I fell in love with criminal law. And now she's a good friend of mine.
Okay. That's quite a progress between being.
And she's a lovely lady. Lovely,
Could have told us, could have called her as well. So
I mean, moving on to that, like right after that, also you moved. I mean, you have like friends and close friends that are also doing law, right? So
Correct, yeah.
are they like an influence as well, or do you feel like it's more or less that it's just me? Like what you mentioned earlier, it's like your uncle has been a lawyer. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a lawyer.
Yeah.
So do friends play a part in your decision making?
I'm quite fortunate in the sense that most of my close friends in law school and my seniors also, who I'm quite good with, they were all criminal lawyers also.
Okay.
And we all came into the scene at about the same time.
Okay.
And we all decided to branch out and start our own practice at the same time. So in essence, we are all the same. So it gives me a wide pool of contact in the sense that if I don't, you need a second opinion, third opinion all the time. So it's always nice that you could reach out to them and they would always be there. And one of them is like our good friend, Pusho, Yeah.
Now, shout out to Pusho if you're watching this. I think that's pretty good in that sense, right? Because I also believe that, your circle of friends do play a part in your decision making, right?
Yeah.
Like me, for an example, I think my circle of friends when I was studying, thinking about opening food trucks or doing some other things, but I'm not doing that anyways. I'm doing something totally different, but I guess that comes with the, your exposure and stuff like that, right? So yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. I have a few questions lined up, but before I line up some questions, I think maybe Prakash, do you have anything to wanna?
I heard you do stage acting, right? So how long have you been doing that? Yeah.
I've been dabbling in stage acting probably since I was 12, 13. It all started with like church plays and stuff, I used to reenact the Passion of Christ, and
The movie, you mean?
the movie is the dramatization,
Yeah,
of it, but then there's like a
dramatization.
certain section of the gospel that speaks exactly what happened.
My Christian friends, I went straight to the movie. Okay, okay, go ahead.
So I at that time I was playing like a temple guard, like all extra roles.
Okay.
But then I used to see the main guys and I used to think like, wow, it must be nice. So ever since then, I've always like volunteered myself and got into it. And I realized that I really liked acting. I really, really liked acting. And then at one point, the guy who pioneered everything in Malacca, these guys, they used to do like real big production stuff.
Okay.
Get the props done and all that, and all of that out of their own pockets. It's crazy, right? And then he passed on, and right before he passed on, I was fortunate enough to go and ask him for his permission to just carry on the legacy, and he agreed. And then I've been doing that. After that, I wrote some plays and stuff, and we staged it. So it's always in the realm of the church and stuff. And then quite recently, I started stepping out and doing with another group called Crate. Crate is a cafe based in Malacca, but they put on a lot of shows. They have the cafe to fund their shows and stuff, and they put on some good stuff. My recent production with them was last week, actually. Last week, I think it was last week. Yeah, it was called The Best Nyonya. It was a musical, and I had to play this character called Hari. Hari, who's a typical Indian guy, and I had a little story about that. So one of the biggest criteria that they wanted me to be able to do is that to speak in a thick Indian accent, and for some reason I couldn't do it, and I took this as the biggest embarrassment, And then I had to be coached by 3 people to speak in thick accent.
Yeah.
Me, an Indian, being coached to speak like an Indian by 3 Chinese fellas. The irony. So I took it upon myself. I watched ton of Tamil movies. I started going for like shows in the cinemas. And, like,
Yeah, which kind of like, sorry to interrupt, but I did see you like going for Tamil movies suddenly, you know. Like,
Yes,
then I'm like,
yes.
okay, Cassian's watching some Tamil movies. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, go on.
The only Tamil movies I used to watch before was Rajinikanth.
Okay.
Rajinikanth's movies, I'm there no matter what, my entire family. Right? But then I started watching other movies.
Okay.
And then even when my downtime at home, I used to watch and I listen to Tamil music just to have that little influence.
Okay.
So on that show, on that day, the last day, my parents came. And that was my biggest worry. Whether they gave me the green tick or not. Lah. So I went up to my mom and my mom said, okay, not bad. You sound like you're an Indian.
That's pretty good.
lah, pass
You have
lah.
not disappointed us. That means you also have trained in dancing, singing, the triple threat thing.
Okay, as you probably would have seen just now, I cannot dance for the life of me.
I wasn't watching. I was too absorbed in this.
Yeah, I saw you were very intently doing this.
I'm very intense when it comes to. But yeah, but you have some training in singing.
Not at
dancing.
all, not at all. I mean, I used to sing in the choir last time, but
Okay.
that didn't amount to anything. But I've already piqued my interest a little bit in the musical scene.
Okay.
So I thought of like wanting to like, properly train my singing and dancing a little bit, just to have a little bit more reach.
Yeah, because on a stage play, usually,
Correct, yeah.
Do you perform exclusively just in Malacca, or do you come over to KL?
I'm open to do whatever, whenever lah.
Okay.
But it also depends on my schedule.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So how do you manage that? Is it like very taxing for you or what?
Absolutely no idea how I do it. I genuinely have no idea. Like some of the show dates, you'll be free the entire time, but when it comes to the show time, that's when you're needed in like 3 different states on the same day. So I would start off on one particular day. I started off with a case in Seremban. Then I had to rush up to KL and then come back by 6 p.m. to Malacca for the show,
Okay.
which is intense.
Yeah,
Right?
of course.
And then
That's
you have
very
like a 2-hour show to perform. Yeah. So I don't know how I do it.
So you run your own firm,
Correct, yes.
right?
Yeah.
So what kind of challenges you have running your own firm? I mean, I assume it's a small to medium sized firm,
Correct, yes.
right? And you're going against like bigger firms or all that, right? What kind of challenges you normally face?
Automatically when they see me, and then they see my firm, especially the letterhead, and you have like 2 lawyers, myself and my other friend.
Yeah.
They automatically try and big brother you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, because of the size of your.
Yeah.
Size
All
of the
time.
firm, your age, right?
Correct, yeah, all the time. So they tend to come off a little bit condescending, as if like you don't know what you're doing, which is the perfect recipe for surprise. As Optimus Prime says, is the element of surprise. That's everything, So they do not expect much from you. So when you come in and give them a full blast on their face, then they'll be like, oh shit. Okay. So I always count on that lah. Yeah.
Okay, I have something to ask. Like, since you're talking about that, but maybe it might be a bit offensive, but I'm just going to throw it anyways. I've always been told that like lawyers, they especially maybe the Indian lawyers, they have this air of arrogance about them. Apparently, like if like you would like.
He
Speak to
seems
them.
fine.
If you like speak out to them, or you like want to discuss even things that are not even legal, they come off being a bit more like what do you say, maybe condescending.
Same, condescending,
And
know
even-
it all,
yeah.
this kind of thing.
Is that like a parent thing, or is it like how? I mean,
I think among lawyers, they don't necessarily show that. Especially like I have the privilege of rubbing shoulders with some of the like notable criminal lawyers,
Okay.
and some of them are actually good friends. These guys, the ones who are actually very knowledgeable, they're very, very humble people.
Okay.
Very nice, very approachable, because they want to teach you. But of course, you have some of these guys lah, and my luck, I don't necessarily bump into them, and they don't naturally show these kind of attitudes among lawyers also.
Okay.
But I've heard them from like clients and stuff. Like one particular client who traveled to Malacca to meet me on Friday, traveled down by bus, and he told me like he said this to me, exact words. Okay, I'm stupid. You're smart. I'm going to ask you a ton of stupid questions, and I'm going to ask you like probably 30, 40 times, and you got to answer me. So I said, I don't have to answer you, but I'm happy to answer you, And I asked him why. And he said, because he had another lawyer before this in KL. And apparently this guy, whenever he asked any questions, he would answer probably about 3-4 times. And after he'll say like, I've already answered you this. Why you keep asking? Just stop asking stupid questions.
Oh, okay.
and it gets shut down. And the best part is, my client didn't get to communicate what he needed to communicate to the guy, which ended up being a very vital point at the decision of the case. Yeah.
So he switched to you.
Yeah.
He lost the
second-
case, or no?
I cannot say that. But
I mean, before he switched to you.
I cannot say
Okay.
that. But yeah, he's my client now.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, let's touch a bit on the legal parts, right? Since you're talking about lawyers, I mean the whole cases and stuff like this, right? I'll just take one from one of the questions we have here. Like, how long does a criminal hearing process take? Like, and then how, like, from getting caught or being sentenced, like, how complex can it be?
Okay. When you are arrested, all right, when a person is arrested, they will be automatically brought to the lockup, right? And at that time, they have the police. They have 24 hours to conduct, or they get whatever statements they need and all that. In the event, they cannot complete it. That's when they will bring you to court the next day to ask for a remand. They can get a maximum of 14 days,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
But it's broken up into 7. So the first time you're brought, let's just say they ask for 7, they're granted 4.
Okay.
So at the lapse of the 4th day, if they feel they still need to continue the investigation, then they'll bring you up again, and then they'll ask you to be detained again.
Okay.
More often than not, it doesn't necessarily happen. Within the day itself, they will charge you a double offense.
Oh, all right.
Right?
Okay.
So in these kind of cases, you will not be allowed to leave no matter what. So
Okay.
yeah, but they will still be brought to see whether they are okay or not, whether they've been beaten or not, etc., etc. Right? Because as much as we on the outside, we feel like, oh, you're arrested means gone, like you're going to be whacked inside and all that. The courts, they try and police it as much as possible. For instance, one of the biggest questions they always ask is, are you healthy? Is everything okay? Do you need medication? Were you beaten? They'll ask them directly, So then the police will have to answer. So you must also understand, during this portion of the case, it is under the police jurisdiction. All right. So after this procedure is done, that is when the case is brought to court. And then you start the trial. And the trial is broken down into 2 parts. There's the prosecution's case, and then there's the defense case.
Okay.
The prosecution's case is when the prosecutor will call all of their witnesses. And at the end, you will have a submission that you have to write. And if the court feels that they have proved their case, then they'll call for defense. If the court feels that you have raised a reasonable doubt that you could have not done that offense, that's enough. They'll get you off. So long story short, about 9 months. Estimated 9 months. But it can go on and on and on and on.
That is depending on the case.
On the case.
Yeah.
Because you must also understand that after COVID, the courts have been swarmed with loads of cases.
backlogs there.
Yes.
Okay.
So some of the courts are still actually going through it till now.
Okay. And does it like take a toll on you guys, especially like lawyers, like where you have to do you sometimes take cases that are backlog, or like in the case you mentioned, like this client who was told that he was stupid, so is there like a significant amount of cases that just comes like nobody's business and you guys have to cope with it, or how does it work? Like that? Is there a lot of cases that comes along the way?
I mean, cases do come, but the reality of the situation is that even if you go out right now and you pick a pebble and you throw it, it might land on one of the lawyers. We have that many lawyers running around, which is not a detrimental situation. It's just the situation. So cases can be sparse and it not be sparse. If you are like one of those notable big time lawyers and you have a specialty, they're going to come for you, no matter what. You see, so that is quite subjective. But when it comes lah.
Okay.
Yeah, and you just got to see it, because like cases like KL cases, right? For instance, you might be charged, let's just say sometime 2024, and they'll tell you from the get-go, we are looking at your trial to be in somewhere in 2025. They'll tell you that itself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if your client is able to be out on bail, that's a good thing.
Okay.
But if
if it's
not,
not,
then
Stay there lah.
yeah, it's unfortunate situation lah. So you write representations or whatever lah.
So yeah, speaking of big cases,
Yeah.
this might be a bit sensitive, but how big is the GISB case?
GISB has turned out to be a very big issue, and it's quite ironic that it falls about the same time with this Didi situation
Yeah, yeah.
also, Yeah.
Quite a coincidence.
Exactly. I
Without
mean,
the
I
baby
don't
oil,
think it's I don't think it's related in any way, but it's
Yeah.
quite ironic because you see, now that everyone is having some sort of idea or perspective on this Diddy case, they're giving you loads of perspective, and in the sense that even if you go on TikTok or YouTube or whatever, you might land yourself in one of the videos. In fact, my mother is coming to me, do you know Diddy was caught? I said, Mom, he was arrested some time ago. You see, my mom knows now. So falls about the same time gives enough understanding to people as to how severe these cases actually are. You know, this JSB thing is quite big. Last month I was in Seremban, and in one of the sessions court, I was there for my trial. And this court is usually quite empty. At most, you'll see about 4 fellas sitting down inside.
Okay.
So when I went in, it's so packed until outside also people are standing outside,
Okay.
which is quite rare. So I went straight to the interpreter and asked him what's going on lah. Oh, ni semua GSB lah. And the place is filled to the brim. They're going to be charged. They were charged. And
Filled to the brim with the accused, all the accused.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
quite a number.
Yeah.
The exact number, I'm not so sure, but I saw some big lawyers there on that day.
Big lawyers.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of which, I had contact with JSB.
No.
Not personal contact.
Right.
I did not touch any of the kids. But okay, where I stay, there is one particular area with all this GISB
Right.
involved business. Basically, it's like a self-sustaining community.
Okay.
They have like mechanics, they have a laundromat, they got clinics and all that stuff. So happens right stuck in the middle of that, there is a sort of a tuition center, not GISB. I sent my kid there. So that's opposite one of the apartments where these GISB guys stay. So like every time when I go there to pick up my son, I play with the cats. And the owner of the cat, he's quite friendly. He always used to tell me, oh, dia suka sangat dengan you, all this thing. Then I saw that guy in the paper. He's one of the enforcers.
Oh my Lord.
The guy who literally beats whoever tries to run out, all this thing. That's the guy. And I was like, oh, it's such a nice guy. And after I saw that, I was like, oh.
My Lord.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's wolves in sheepskin,
Yeah.
It's so unfortunate. I think the number as of last month was like 500 something kids. Kids,
yes, kids.
That is, it's so heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking. It was happening right under our nose too,
How many cases involving kids do you have aside from GISB? I mean, have you gone through any kind of cases with kids?
I handle predominantly sexual matters. And the number of sexual cases against minors, I cannot tell you the exact number because I don't know off the top of my head.
Of course, yeah.
But it's quite high. It's not quite high. It's high, man. It's high. These things happen all the time.
Spread across the country, I mean, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You must also take into account the fact that cases, right, like this will always be brought to court.
Okay.
Right? Whether or not it holds water is another thing.
Okay. So
Whether or not it actually happened is another thing.
some of them go unresolved, or
No.
Oh,
They get the required attention.
I see.
They get the required attention, but not to throw shade in any direction, but to be open about it. Sometimes accusations are just that, baseless accusations.
I
And
see.
sometimes they are actually things that actually happened, So when people come up, especially about this GISB matter, right? I understand the sensitivity of it and how enraged people are that these kind of things are happening. But the reality of it is these things have been happening for some time. And I tell you for a fact, the police, right, they get a lot of flack, but they do a fantastic job when they investigate things like this, cases like this. They go into the uttermost depths and try and get the facts out because they're kids.
They have pissed people off because that place where I told you near my place, right?
Yeah.
Right now there's a lot of graffiti there calling PDRM as Barbies and all that. Please don't. I'm trying to give a context. There's a lot of graffitis of people actually spraying those kind of things there because there are people who are actually pissed off with the cops because they actually did their job.
Right.
Yeah. So I
They're pissed off with the cops for doing their job.
Yes. Because there's so many graffitis cursing at the cops there, cursing at PDRM there.
Because they cracked down.
They actually went and did the raids and all that, right? They did their job, so there are people who are actually pissed off with that.
Wow.
Yes. So that itself, like I guess one of the other examples is there's this TikTok account of a guy who was, like sort of filming a small girl in a bus and all that.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he
yeah.
had like what 50,000 followers or something, right? Which people were supporting him. So like, yeah, this kind of things happen, lah.
The police and the people. I mean, the people don't have anything to be afraid of because when all they need to do is they need to understand that when something wrong happens, they need to go and lodge a complaint to the police. They need to. They just absolutely need to. Only then can the police act on it, right? And then they can identify what and what,
All right.
and then they can take action, right? Because many instances where things like this happen, what they do is they go and contact the person and say, look, I'm going to lodge a police report right now. What are you going to do? So then these guys will come. Let's bincang outside and all that.
Okay, they
And
settle
get
it
resolved,
outside in that sense.
You know? But these kind of things have a lasting effect on children.
Yes.
You know, and the effect is so detrimental to them that it's a butterfly effect that it keeps growing and growing and growing and growing and growing.
Oh.
It needs to be addressed. You see? And the way you address it is let the people who are supposed to do their job. Let them know.
Yeah.
They need to lodge police report. People don't understand the importance of police report. And on top of that, this is another thing that I always see that really irks me. When you go and lodge a police report, you need to state down what happened, how it happened and stuff. And if you don't know how to lodge a police report, no problem. Contact a lawyer. If you don't want to pay lawyers' fees, it's fine. Go to your nearest bar committee, right? Every state has one.
Yeah.
Go and tell them they have legal aid. They will assist you in how to like lodge a police.
Bar committee, not NGO, not the unregistered NGO. Bar committee.
Okay.
So go and learn how to lodge a police report and lodge it. You know, so you have the date, the time, how, who, why,
All right.
and what you want them to do. You know, there's so many people. What they do is they'll put everything in detail at the bottom. They'll say, "I'm doing this as a cover report." Cover what? What are you trying to cover? You know, they don't understand. Cover reports and other reports are so different. You know, so you need to know how to lodge a police report properly.
What is a cover report actually?
Cover report is basically to say like, okay, boss, this happened. I'm just telling you lah.
It's like a brief
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Is it like in a way saving their ass or anything like
Basically, this. Basically, this. And it's not. For some cases, yeah, it's fine. You can do that, but you cannot just do it all across the board. And you get to see it a lot actually.
Okay.
They'll tell you that they lodge a police report, and you see the report is just absolutely nothing. When you do a cover report and stuff, that you're not giving any, or rather, an incomplete report. You're not giving enough info for the police to go on it.
Okay.
Given that they're supposed to call you and take statements and
Yeah,
stuff and try and identify what's going on. But the first report has to be substantial.
Is this something like, example, I'm taking reference of Tamil movies. For example, when you see a crime happening, right, you see someone getting murdered on the street, and then usually when there's someone dying on the street, the crowd just gathers around it, and that's it. They just keep looking at the victim, and then police arrives and stuff like that, and then the police will actually ask around, like, hey, did you see who actually butchered this guy to his death or something like that? And then people, back away from saying anything. Is it something closely related to the cover report? People just make a report because they are at the scene and they don't want to get involved further into it. So they just do this sort of procedure like, yes, I'm there. I'm just making cover report and that's it. I'm not going to involve myself further. Or is there like some kind of like a implication, like, okay, if I make an extensive report, the cops are going to be tailing me all the time. I feel like I'm losing privacy. Is that one of the factors?
No. I think two different contexts. Cover reports usually come off when, let's just say there's an argument between two parties. All right. Or like there's like you and your neighbor have some misunderstanding or something like that, where you believe you would have done something or so, or something like that. Or you want to report, but you don't want it to go further. All right. So you say, it's a cover report.
Okay.
Sometimes the cover report don't make sense also. They're just reporting because they feel something wrong. Right?
Yeah.
The point here being, you need to lodge a proper police report. You need to do it the proper
A
way.
full detailed one.
Correct way, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, Prakash actually pointed out something, and I think I just want to like highlight further. What is your take on some individuals who carry themselves as a legal expert, and then the incident cases where you see like some very high profile cases. Example I would give that boy that was bullied to death. Forgot his
Can't
name.
remember his name, but yeah.
Like
yeah.
with the spectacles. Can't remember now. Naveen.
Okay.
The Naveen's case. There are a few individuals out there, that claim to be like, I'm a legal expert. I have a legal unit. I've never heard of that thing called a legal unit before in my life. Maybe correct me if you've heard.
Legal
something.
unit.
Have you heard of something like that? Okay.
Legal unit, service center.
Something like that, along the lines of that, and claim to, have knowledge and stuff. These people, sometimes they can convincingly make quite a number of people to believe that they are, in fact, lawyers.
So they're not real lawyers. Like?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, if you were to like dig deep, again, please do your homework before you
Yes.
start believing people, right? If you were to dig deep, you will know that these people are not actually.
They're not in the bar.
Yeah, they're not certified lawyers.
They're even bankrupts.
Oh.
Okay. No, sorry. Okay. Then moving on. These kind of people actually, take people for a ride, and in order to further convince people that I'm actually leading this victim's mother to the court. I'm bringing her to court. I personally do not know how cases work, and to the point where they can actually be during the
They
the
can
hearing.
be at the hearing and all that kind of thing.
So
how does that work? Yeah.
How do they manipulate and?
Yeah.
I mean, in your knowledge,
So let's say like even both of us, for example, we go to represent someone. Can that happen?
Okay. When you say represent, you mean like not legally, of course, right? Is that what you mean?
I mean, I guess in your sense, you say that we can't legally represent them.
Correct. Yeah.
But we can actually go and con a person,
Okay.
right? Tell them that you pay us and we will represent you. And then we go and sit with them in the court. Can that happen?
Okay. From what I'm seeing these days is, especially after COVID, many people do anything and everything as a form of manner in which they can earn money, right? Money is at the center of everything. So, and people have smartened up in a sense that if I sort of champion someone's case or partner up with a lawyer and all that, I can make a quick buck from it. Not a quick buck, actually a business model or some sort of thing, right?
Okay.
That's one thing. That's a precursor. I think I understand what you're trying to say in a sense that when there's a case, some fellow will come and be the mouthpiece for the family or something like that.
Exactly, yes.
That really depends. If the family chooses to appoint this guy to be the mouthpiece or whatever for media or whatever, then that's fine. That's their prerogative. But if our friend himself goes and says like, look, I'm going to champion your case and all that, I think the family needs to be able to identify what is this guy bringing to the table. Like if he has some connections to like proper lawyers and stuff, great. But if his involvement, he or she's involvement is bringing in like saying like, okay, if you pay this much, this case will count. There's no such thing, by the way.
Okay.
There's no such thing. So people tend to think that this is something that's possible.
There's a clear grief.
Yeah. Don't condone to this kind of stuff, like especially like outsiders. Yeah,
It's not in your field, but do you think early sexual education helps?
absolutely. I truly believe this is something that is really needed. I have been having some dialogues with some people, like a psychiatrist and all that in Malacca. Some people out of Malacca too. Something needs to be done. Kids need to understand what they are seeing, or you cannot control the exposure because if you are stopping them here, they're going to see it somewhere else.
That's why it's difficult.
Yeah. They need to understand it. They don't know what they're doing, And I think proper understanding of the situation, one, will help them to not identify as such and such without understanding it in full.
Yes.
And two, you can stop so many premarital sex. You can't stop that. I mean, premarital pregnancy.
Pregnancies.
Pregnancy.
Wet milk and all
Reduce it in a way, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Understand. Okay, I have something to ask in relation to that. This is something I just want to point out. In your cases, right, when you see sexual conduct cases and stuff, is it more or less between people that they know personally, like example, their relatives, or is it more the case of like,
Who are the perpetrators most commonly?
most common ones?
It's a bit of a sensitive topic, but it happens so much. It's actually across the board, honestly. It happens among their peers
Okay.
All right.
because right now they mix between ages and quite katara, the mixture. 13 can hang out with 18 years old, this sort of a thing. So mixture, yes. Family, yes. Especially if it's a broken family.
Ah.
There is quite a number of cases. There are quite a number of cases where broken family kids tend to be exposed or rather taken advantage of. And when you hear the victims' stories, it's very, very heartbreaking because it's happening to them right in front of you, but you wouldn't know. Yeah.
And they don't realize it as well.
They
right?
don't.
Yeah.
They think it's like a form of conditioning in a way. Is that like a
Perhaps, yeah. Perhaps, yeah.
okay? I think moving on a bit, I have a few burning questions to ask in terms of law or legal stuff. That is a bit further drifting away from sexual conducts and
Asking for a friend.
stuff. Asking for a friend, not really. Okay, I have like random things to ask. Okay, this is something that I Mema wanted to ask you ever since we figured that you will come in as a guest. This was like my burning question now. Okay, let's say this is for all the Indian brothers out there, lah. Okay, just for example. Let's say you're driving. Let's say you're driving in a.
Applies to the Chinese and Malays as well. We don't discriminate.
Let's say you're driving, right, and then you got pulled over in the roadblock. Okay. I mean, appearances sometimes can be deceiving. Maybe the police will look at me is like ini example lah, for example, right? What are the how do I put it? As a road user, what are you entitled to in terms of the law? And for an example, let's say how do you not be a problem to the authorities? Let's say if you pulled over, is that's one thing. And then at the same time, how much authority does the police have when they stop you in a roadblock?
Okay. First things first, before I start to answer you, is people in Malaysia, local friends, need to identify an American police or a movie cop and a Malaysian police, right? Whatever you see in the shows and stuff,
That
they
doesn't
say
apply,
like the pigs. Boss, it doesn't necessarily apply to our friends here. More often than not, they just want to settle the problem and go home.
Okay.
If they're stopping you by the road, number one, comply. Right? Don't straight away like, apa lu mau? You start like that, of course the police is going to come after you, right? So first things first, if he asks you for your IC and all that, you look at his appearance first. Does he resemble a police? Right? Does he have a nombor badan and all these kind of things, right? You can ask him for his card also, right? You give him your name, your IC number. You give him this, and then you ask him. If he asks you anything further, like a license, or you show him lah. Okay, if you didn't do anything wrong, and then he still asks you more questions, you can ask him, "Am I arrested or not?" If I'm arrested, okay, you tell me. Okay, let's just say you're not arrested. If you're not arrested, you can go. There's nothing stopping you. What? Just say, okay, I'm leaving. There's nothing else. I'm going to go. Okay, right? If you are arrested, you ask him, why am I arrested? Right? If he doesn't give you a valid reason or gives you a valid reason, the best course of action for you to do next is say, I have a right under the law that I need to speak to a lawyer.
Okay.
Contact your lawyer. If you don't have a lawyer, once again, contact your bar counsel or something. Right? They'll get you free legal aid.
Not the NGO.
But I'm pretty sure these days somebody or somehow knows some lawyer, right? Call a lawyer and then get the lawyer's advice. The lawyer should be able to assist you.
Okay.
Then when you go in, if you're arrested, they want to take a statement from you, right? You have the right of not answering these questions,
Okay.
right? But I'm not going to teach you now. You better get your lawyer because in case if it assists something, you did something wrong or you could assist the law in some sense, you should probably speak, right? But yeah, get the advice of your lawyer and then you see what you can do from there.
Okay, not that I support people carrying illegal contrabands in the car, but do they have the rights to search your car straight away?
They need to have valid reasons to search your car.
All right, okay.
Right? The thing is, you need to communicate with the police and ask what's going on actually. And if they're searching your car, you have to stand there. You come there and you see what they're doing.
Have a look now. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
You have the right to write down whatever you're doing and stuff. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the problem these days, because sometimes you get some fake guys coming and posing as cops and stealing, stealing money from you or whatever, right? There was once something very questionable happened to me. And this was early days when I was still in law school.
Okay.
So I felt very, very violated in a sense, like, because I just bought my phone and I was driving out of Jasco, I believe, at that time. And then three fellas came and stopped me at the corner. I was thinking, what's going on? Right? And then they said, oh, we are policemen. It didn't occur to me, because when it happens at that time, right, it doesn't occur to you. So I stepped out, but then they were quite prudent enough to ask me to see what they're checking. Nothing happened. So I left. I went in my car. I went straight to the police station and I said, look, I saw these three fellas at these three places. Are these policemen or not? They say, yeah, these fellas are just checking you. Don't worry, nothing happened, right? You can go. Just double check lah, but don't be a pain lah, unnecessary pain. You're giving them trouble and giving yourself trouble.
Okay. I think
Also, I think there's this thing called the Red Book, I believe. Yeah, it's I think it's a PDF file. Yeah, which lists down everything people should know when they are arrested and how they can comply and what their rights is.
Okay.
I'll send you the PDF. Maybe you can put it out when the episode comes out. It will be helpful to people.
put out the link.
okay, that'll be helpful. Yeah.
With a list of numbers too, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's good. Okay, another last burning question before we can.
Asking for another friend.
Yeah, we're asking for another friend. Okay.
I think I know where this is going.
Okay, imagine this situation lah. For let's say, for example, you're a job seeker. Okay, you're looking for a job, and maybe you're just putting yourself out there to see what kind of opportunities you have, and then it just so happened to be you got yourself a job interview. You attend to it. You attend the interview. You go through the interview. Everything goes fine. The company gets back to you and tells you then, hey, we're interested in hiring you. We'll be sending you an offer letter. So this is an offer letter. Please go through it, and then once you're okay, you can sign it off and get it back to us lah. So let's say, put myself in the situation lah. Yeah, I'm looking at that offer letter. Everything is fine. I signed it over, and then I send it back to the company.
Right.
And that offer letter has already been signed by the company, and I've already signed. So give a day or two, the company comes back to you and says that, hey, you know what? We're going to pull out from this job offer because we feel that so and so we did some background checks on you, and then we find that you have certain cases where we feel like it's not safe to hire you. Or they can quote to say that maybe you have something that is very disturbing to be even hired in the first place. So let's say that happens. Then you question the employer. May I know what are the so-called disturbing points or whatever? And the company does not disclose it. They say it's within their what do you call that?
Policy.
Within their policy, for example. Okay, within their policy, they can't disclose this to you. So as a job seeker, let's say in that instance, you have dropped your job, you have tendered, and then you think that, okay, this job is fine for me, I'm going to take it. What's next? What does the job seeker have in terms of justice? Let's say, for example, like he wants to get to the bottom of it, like in terms of, I just want to know the actual reasons as to why I'm not employed, and can that person also, in a way, prosecute or even try to bring this person up to court, or the company or the individual? How does that work?
Okay. Were you privy, or rather was your friend privy to the to the policy before?
No.
Was the policy ever shown to you, read to you?
No.
Okay. So why didn't these men or employers look into your background before they even gave you or your friend this offer letter?
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Did your friend pose this question?
No.
Right. Okay. See, there's a lot of things that comes with a job offer, because a certain person would have already left the old job
Mhm.
and is highly dependent on this job,
Mm.
right? So when somebody pulls the rug beneath this person's feet,
Mhm.
that's going to cause a lot of trouble,
Okay.
because there's promise there,
Mhm.
right? So since this employer says that, they have valid reasons as to why and all that, they should show you these reasons,
Mm.
right? They cannot just say that, they should prove it to you, lah,
Yeah.
right? And if it's true, fine, fair enough. If it's not, especially for this person, was this person a problem causer?
Not really.
then what's the point here? You know, this person should actually show cause a little bit, lah. You know, you should lodge a complaint to the labor office definitely because it's not right. You know, you promise somebody and then you just for some other reason just pull it out.
So, for an example, let's say that you don't have a justifiable reason as to why the job is not given to you because according to them, so and so reasons we are pulling out. You do have a right to ask the company to disclose the actual source, right?
Yes. You ask in a civil way, don't fight. Go and ask and see what they reply you. If the reply is satisfactory, then fine. Let's walk away. But if the reply is not satisfactory and you feel that something's really fishy, that he has another reason or ulterior motive here, they just wants to chicken out and doesn't want to pay you or whatever, take it up to the labor office.
Okay.
Put in a complaint.
So what happens after that? Let's say you go to the labor office, you make a report. What is the next step?
They will look into the matter and they will see. They will ask him to come. And if there's anything, before anything, they'll ask you to sit down and deal with it first.
Okay.
Right? If there's an amicable solution from it, then move on with life. If there's no amicable solution, then the labor office will look into it.
Okay. I think that's good, I guess.
Yeah, can go tell your friend.
Okay, another question before we
Your friend gave you a very detailed explanation.
Okay, what do you have to say for the young ones that are maybe interested in getting into law? Do you have any golden advice to give them, or do you think don't become a lawyer? something like that. What do you have to say for those kind of people?
I think it's what I would like to say is where's the camera? This one. It's the art of patience. You need to have the art of patience, right? It's very much glamorized, as I mentioned before. This noble profession of ours is very much glamorized, but at the same time, that one, very much glamorized. But you need to understand that this is a job, and you have to wait, right? And many people will come and tell you, "Oh, don't be a lawyer, don't be a this and all that." Yes, there's going to be a lot of competition, right? But it's how you prepare yourself and how you test your mettle. But at the same time, no matter how much the surrounding world will give you pressure, always be a prudent lawyer. Understand that people will come to you, they'll ask you silly questions, etc., because you are in a unique position to assist them. Don't take opportunities. Don't cut their throat. Don't throw them under the bus. Assist them as much as possible, especially people who cannot afford. The rights of people who are poor is really taken for granted, and it's very, very sad. Do not be ashamed or do not be afraid of taking up pro bono cases. Help people out when they need it. And trust me, God is watching. It'll come right back to you. Yeah.
Okay.
Seriously, yes. Don't start fake NGOs.
Oh yeah, another important thing. Yeah, do you want to add to that? So don't be fake.
Don't carry parang in your car also.
Okay. I think with that, we can call it up for our episode for tonight. We have to first of all thank Cassian for coming all the way.
Pleasure, man.
And doing this episode with us. I hope this episode can be very, very useful for those of you listening. And as always, if again this is your first time watching the Black Sea Theory, you can definitely follow us on our social media platforms. We will bring we will have different episodes each month for now. And for our next episode, which we are aiming to do something out of the ordinary, I guess, out of the box, out of the four walls, I guess. So we'll be doing something a bit more interesting, I guess. And we certainly appreciate the support that you've given us all this while. And Prakash, maybe you want to tease a bit about what we're going to do.
I have another quick question.
Yeah.
All right. Asking for a friend. Friend.
Okay.
Can you drag malls to the criminal court because they don't actually do enough decoration for Deepavali?
I think you spoke on this in the past podcast, I believe, right? As to I don't know.
I think we
We've touched on it. Yeah.
Yeah. I spoke to one of my friends who is this bank manager, and I pointed out to her and I said, Christmas is so, you can see it anywhere.
Yeah.
Even before Christmas, during Deepavali, so you can see the decoration.
Yeah.
And then during Christmas, you can see Chinese New Year decorations.
Yes.
But Deepavali is just Deepavali. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't.
That's
And
okay.
the answer that you get is the fact that unfortunately, Deepavali does not generate
It's
enough
the economic.
money. Yeah, it's an
economic moving thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
You can see that in my
Yeah, I'm
Facebook.
just asking for some people who are very enriched on TikTok lah. So,
Yeah.
in case they want to contact you to drag any malls like 163 Mont Cara to the court and all that. Some fella lah decided to make noise about 163.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
So maybe he can call you lah. I mean, it's still revenue for you. So
but on the plus point, for Deepavali, although the malls don't necessarily give us decorations, we get good movies. And trust me, this time I watched most of the movies. They were very good, very good movies.
What's your favorite one?
Fine.
What is that one with Siva Karthikeyan?
Amaran.
Amaran. Amaran was really good, man. Really, really good movie. Really good movie. Enjoyable. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, going back to that, again, thank you so much for
so
watching
much.
this episode. Kindly follow us at all of our platforms. And if you have any questions related to this episode or any other future episodes or our past episodes, please don't hesitate to contact us in our email, vandukadinga@gmail.com. And until the next time, thank you so much again and see you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.